Okay, for tonight, guys, we're going to have a brief review of what you have learned through the video. I hope you were able to get this. We're not going to discuss everything. We're just going to go through the most important points here. So in Excel, you can compute for the future value, the present value. You can compute for the annuity. You can compute for the rate. You can compute for the number of periods. Excel is quite powerful as far as computations of these measures is concerned. So by way of review, guys, when we talk about future value, you are actually compounding. So the process of compounding is getting the future value. And how do you compute for the future value? Given the present value, given the value now, you multiply it by your compound rate. This is the compound rate, 1 plus r raised to the t. Okay, and the bigger, the longer the period. Okay, so let me change the. Okay, let me use this. Okay, the longer the period, guys, the longer the t, the period of compounding, the bigger will be your future value. So this is the formula. I'm sure you have learned this in your senior high school. And in Excel, it's very easy to compute for that. We just use the FB function. Okay, so this is our FB function. We're given that the present value is 1 million. Okay, and in 20 years' time, with a rate of 12%, how much will your 1 million be? Now, it's always good to draw the timeline so that we understand what's really happening to our cash flow. Okay, so let me see. I think my digital pen is turned off. Okay. Okay. So it's always helpful to take a plot timeline of our cash flow. So we're told that here, now you have 1 million. So this is 1M. So the question is, how much will this be? 3, and then you have 19 and 20. How much will this be after 20 years? So that's the question. We're asked for the future value, given that the rate R is equal to 12%. Okay, so using this formula, we get a value of 9646293, or in Excel. So as I said, guys, it's very easy to do this in Excel. Okay, oops. Okay, so we have the formula here, FV. Okay, so let me just increase the size. This one, FV. Okay, the first parameter here is rate. The rate is 12%. The second is N per. Okay, N per is 20. The number of periods 20. And then the next one is PMT. Now this is not an annuity. An annuity is a uniform stream of cash flows. It's only a single cash flow, 1 million here, only one. So we don't put anything here in PMT. PMT stands for annuity. So you can type 0 there or just ignore it. And then the present value here, the present value is 1 million. Okay, type, if you watch the video, guys, and I hope you did, you ignore this because, okay, type refers to an annuity. So since this is not an annuity, so we just ignore the type. Okay, and then if we notice that there's a negative here, if I remove the negative, okay, I'll be getting a negative answer, -9. Why is that negative? Because Excel is very strict about the direction of the cash flow. Here, it's stating here that this is positive, the present value is positive. So it means that there's a cash inflow, pumasok yung cash. Cash entered in, it's positive. So it could have been a loan. It could have been a loan for the company. So we have a positive value here. So after 20 years, it should be negative. Okay. it should be negative because if we have a loan now, after 20 years, then we have to repay back that loan. And the amount that we're going to repay is 9.646 million. Okay, now we're not interested, we're not looking at the direction of the cash flow. So what we can do is just put a negative here. By putting a negative here, you'll have a positive answer. Okay, we're just looking at the value. Okay, it doesn't matter whether this is an outflow or an inflow or nor this one. Okay, so this is the present value, and using the formula, so here I showed you that if we use this formula, the future value is equal to the present value, which is 1 million, times the compound factor, 1 plus the rate raised to the period T. Okay. So very straightforward, guys. You get the same answer whether you use the FB function of Excel or the formula. And then you notice that we can find here the compound factor, the compounding factor. If we increase the time, so 20, 30, notice that the increase is not linear. Okay, 30, 20 years to 30 years. Okay, it increased by 20 million. Okay, from 30 to 40, it increased by almost 64 million, 63 million. And increasing it to 100, it became, so that's already 83 billion. So the this tells us of the compound factor of the compounding. Okay, if we increase the number of years, then we can plot this and show that the relationship between the future value and the between the future value and the time, the number of periods, is not linear. Okay, so let me just show that here. Okay, I think this was discussed also in the video. So you notice, guys, it's not linear. It's not at all linear. It's not as if, okay, if we increase the time, the future value, the compounded value, does not go this way. So it's not aligned, guys. It's not aligned. Okay, when we go to 100 years here, okay, if we were using a line, the value would only be here around 20 plus million. But the formula FV is equal to PV times 1 plus R raised to the T. Okay. Okay, so this factor, this compound factor, is not a linear function. Okay, in T. In fact, it's an exponential function. That's why your curve behaves this way. Okay, so you can see the difference between in 100 years. Okay, using this formula, you get a value of 83 billion. Okay, while if it was only linear, this will only be about 23. 1, 2, 3, about 23. Yeah, 23 billion. Okay. So it's really very, very far. All right. Okay, so we can, of course, determine how long it will take us to double the money. Okay, you can use the goal-seek function. Okay, or you can use this function. Okay, so here we use the goal-seek. Okay, or we can use the n-per function, the number of periods function. It will take us to double our money from 1 million to 2 million. And the answer it gave us at 5% interest, the answer it gave us was 14.21 years. Okay, another way to estimate that is use the power of 72. For the power of 72, we just divide 72 by the percent, by the interest rate. Okay, the rate of return, 5%. Just drop off the decimal place. So here, it's 72 divided by the rate of return is 5%. So you have 72 divide by 5, and you get 14.4. Not exactly equal to 14.21, but close enough. This is just an approximation. If you want a quick answer, for example, how much will your money double if you were earning, let's say 12%? How much will that be? If you were earning 12%, okay, using the power of 72, you'll get 6 years. So it will take you around 6 years to double your money if the rate of return was 12%. Okay, so that's how we make use of the power of 72 to determine how long it will take our money to double. Okay, now if we compute for the future value, we can do the reverse. Given the future value, we can compute for the present value. And the present value computation, we call it discounting. Okay, so given the future value, we can compute for the present value. And the discount factor is this one, 1 plus r, quantity raised to the minus t, or this is just the same as, it's the same as, okay, let's put the formula here, FB times 1 over 1 plus r raised to the t. Okay, so we know that negative t here indicates that you can replace this by 1 over 1 plus r raised to the t. So that's discounting. Okay, that's the discount factor, this one. So when we're computing for the future value, we're compounding. When we're computing for the present value, we are discounting. All right. So using the same values, given this value, 9646, that's the future value here. And we're asked, what's the present value equivalent of this amount, 9646? Same time, same period, 20, same rate of return, 12%. And we can use the PV function. Okay, the PV function, you're asked for the rate, that's 12%. The N per is the number of periods, that's 20. Okay, PMT is annuity. So this is not an annuity. Okay, an annuity is a uniform stream of cash flows. This is just one single cash flow at the end. At the end of 20 years, that's 9646. Okay, so we don't put anything here in annuity. Of course, you can type 0 there. It doesn't matter. So future value is 9646. And we expect to get the answer 1 million. Again, I place negative here, or I can put negative here in the future value, and it will give us a positive answer. So true enough, guys, as expected, 1 million to. Same thing here. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? Attendance, mamaya na lang, ha? Okay, any questions? Kindly chat, guys, in the chat box kung clear so far. I would appreciate feedback from you. Is our discussion clear so far? I hope so, guys, kasi quick review na lang to ng video which I shared with you. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, now we go to an annuity. An annuity is a uniform stream of cash flows. So dapat pare-pareho, like this one. 2000, 2005 for 5 years, beginning at next period. No? So ito, nag-transaction dito, time 0. And then at the end of time 0, okay, we have the cash flow 2000. Okay, 2000, 2000 for 5 years. So this is an annuity. Okay, and it's called annuity ordinary because it starts at the end of the period. There's another annuity, and we call it annuity due. And annuity due starts at the beginning of the period. So when we transact the business, immediately the cash flow is recognized or realized. So it's the same, 2000 for 5 years. Okay, this one is 2000 also for 5 years. But this one begins at the end of the period. It's called annuity ordinary. This one begins immediately. It's called annuity due. Of course, guys, we know that an annuity due will have a bigger present value. Kasi ito simula kagad yung 2000. So because it has a bigger present value, then naturally, it will have a bigger future value. Kasi, di ba? Ang formula natin, future value is equal to present value times a compound factor. So the bigger the present value, okay, assuming your R and T remains the same, okay, then you'll have the bigger future value. So that's the implication of this formula. Okay, so here I'm not going to discuss this. I have an example here. Okay, this just shows a difference. Okay, so here, this is annuity ordinary. Okay, and we computed for the present value of all this stream of cash flows. Turns out to be 942.69. Ito naman, annuity due. Okay, immediately yung cash flow natin, 100. Take note, same cash flow siya, no? 30 to, ito 30 din. No? Dito, meron sa dulo, dito wala. Pero, dito, in annuity ordinary, we have at the start, may cash flow na. Dito naman sa annuity, annuity due pala, may cash flow kagad. Dito, wala pa, at the end of the period pa. And if you compute for the present value of this, okay, this is 942, this is 1036.96. So mas malaki yung present value ng annuity due. Assuming pareho lang yung pareho lang yung number ng cash flows at saka pareho lang yung annuity ng amount. Okay. So as regards an annuity, we can compute for the present value. Okay, I mean, we can compute for the annuity payment. This is the formula. For the present value, this is the formula. But in this subject, we're not going to use the formula. Rather, we're going to use Excel, okay, the functionalities of Excel in order to compute for the annuity payment and the present value. So let's first take a look at this. We have a 100, an annuity of 100 for 30 years, okay, at interest of 10%. It's this one. This is that cash flow. This one. Ito yun, no? So may 100 tayo. This is annuity ordinary because this is time 0 and the cash flow begins at the end of time 0, at the end of the first period up to year 30. Okay? So we're asked, dito lumabas ang present value natin, 942.69. Okay, and we computed it manually by getting the present values of each of these cash flows. Here, we're using a formula. Okay, so let's do this. The formula to compute for the present value is, okay, PV, no? PV, and then what's this? This is the rate, 10%. And what's N? N is the N per, and it's 30. How did we get here N? Okay, where did we get N here? Okay, let me show. And here, we gave it a name. If you recall, guys, in Excel, you can give names. No? This is N. How do we give this a name? Okay, go to the cell and then just type here in the name box, type N. So I hope you saw this in the video. Okay, so this is N. Did we give this also a name? Okay, we gave this also a name, 10%. And okay, this one we call it P. We gave it a name P. Okay, so in order to compute for the present value, okay, so this should be P. Okay, so we have a negative PV. We're getting the present value. This is our rate B32. Okay, of course, we could have used also the rate function, rate RA. Notice, guys, na andito yung rate natin, ano? Yan, rate. Okay, and then N is our N per, and P is our annuity. Okay, so notice also that, comma, future value, we ignore kasi wala naman tayong future value. Ang sinasabi lang sa atin, meron tayong annuity na 100, no? Okay, ang tinatanong sa atin, magkano equivalent value niya ngayon? So you can type 0 there or ignore it. Another comma, type. So this is, okay, what's the type here? In the absence of any clarification whatsoever, whether it's an annuity ordinary or annuity due, always assume that it's an annuity ordinary. So dito i-assume natin na ordinary siya. Kung ordinary, 0 dapat yan kasi end of the period. Kung annuity due, dapat 1 yan kasi beginning of the period. So if I type here 0, okay, 0 siya dito, ibig sabihin nun, guys, annuity ordinary. Okay, so ibig sabihin, okay, so we're correct here kasi wala naman sinabi kung anong klase annuity. So we assume that it's annuity ordinary, or you just ignore. Ignore natin yung dalawa kasi 0 naman yung future value, 0 din yung annuity, yung type ng annuity. Okay, so Control Enter, you get 942.69. Or if we put here yung comma, future value, wala. And then annuity, we put 0 because this is annuity ordinary. Okay, Control Enter, then 942.69. Pareho din. No? Okay, and it's the same as the one computed here. 942.69 then. Okay, and then of course, guys, we said that if it was annuity due, okay, anong kaiba niya? Okay, pareho lang. So this should be P. And this should be, let's use this. Let's use the R, the rate name, okay? Rate. N. This is the annuity, okay? And then walang future value, but the type of annuity is 1 because this is annuity due. And we get a value of 1036.96 higher than the annuity ordinary. Okay, let me pause for a while. Any questions, guys? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question about the computing for the present value of an annuity. Of course, this is a lot easier compared to using the formula. This one. Here, I actually showed the formula here. Again, you know, so medyo mas mahirap siya. Okay, so this is P, the annuity, times the quantity 1 minus 1 plus the rate raised to the negative n divided by the rate. Okay, but mathematically, that's how you compute for that. Okay, and we also get 942.69. Okay, any questions, guys? Clear so far? Chat, please, guys. Clear ba so far yung discussion natin up to? Thank you. Thank you, Abigail. The rest, guys. Okay, thank you so much. And good. Salamat, guys. Your feedback, guys, is very important to me because at least I know that you're able to get it. And don't be ashamed, guys, to ask questions, seek clarifications. Okay? Huwag mahihiyang magtanong. Okay. So, what does this say, guys? We are indifferent to getting 100 for the next 30 years, okay, to 942.69 now. If you're asked, anong pipiliin mo? 942.69 ngayon o 100 for the next 30 years? The answer is, doesn't matter, okay, because they are equivalent values. 100 for the next 30 years at 10%, okay, is the same as 942.69 today. All right. Of course, the decision will be based on other factors, but not on which value is higher. The values are the same; they're equivalent values. Okay, siguro kung kailangan ng pera na ngayon, okay, so ang decision mo ay 942.69 na lang. But if you're preparing it maybe for, let's say, for retirement, okay, ay hindi, gusto ko yung 100 na yan, pag-retirement ko yan, gusto ko makuha yan every year for the next 30 years. That will cover my retirement. So it depends. It depends on the need of the investor. Okay, so we can also get the future value given 100 for 30 years at 10%. Okay, we can compute for the future value, equivalent future value. And as I mentioned a while ago, rate is at 10%. PMT is 100. Okay, sorry. NPER is E33. That's 30 number of periods, and then here PMT is 100. So we ignore the PV, okay, because there's no present value. Okay, ang ibig sabihin ko ng there's no present value. Okay, walang ibang cash flow dito sa 100 na to. Okay? Yung 942.69, equivalent value yan ng 100. Okay, unless sabi sa atin, meron pang cash flow dito sa simula, 942.69. If that's the case, then lalagyan natin ng value ano ba dito? PV. Okay? Alright. So that's PMT. Tapos wala na tayong linagyan ng PV, di ba? Wala rin type. Inignore na natin kasi ordinary naman to eh. So we get this value, 16449.4. So ang ibig sabihin yan guys, if you take a look at this diagram, ito yung 100 for 30 years, okay, at 10% interest, pareho lang yan sa 942.69, pareho lang yan sa 16449. So we are indifferent to choosing this one, 942, or choosing the 100 annuity or 16449. They are equivalent cash flows. So we can compute for 100 if we know 16449, or we can compute 16449 if we know 100. Okay? To compute for these other equivalent values, dapat may alam tayo dyan. Kunyari, kung alam natin itong 942.49, makukompute natin itong 100 na to. Okay? Kung alam natin itong 16449, makukompute din natin itong 100 na to. Or kung alam natin yung 100, makukompute natin yung either 16449 or 942.69. Okay? Or in fact, kung alam natin itong 942.69, alam natin ng 30 years, makukompute din natin yung, yung 16449. Based on the formula kanina, yung FV, no? Given the PV. Alright? So it's very easy, guys. Just understand the time flow. Just understand the cash flow. Okay, just like this problem. Yung next, no? Ito. So here we're asked to compute for the annuity. So sabi, given tayo ng 942.69 or given yung 16449. Okay, so we just choose one, no? Pipiliin natin isa dyan, gamitin muna natin si present value. So ang tanong dito, meron tayong present value 942.69. Okay? Kung gagawin natin annuity yan for 30 years at 10%, ilan dapat yung equivalent value? Magkano dapat yung ihuhulog natin? Okay, if it's an investment, or magkano yung matatanggap natin for the next 30 years? If it was something that we'll be collecting. Okay, alam natin ang answer guys, 100. Kasi ito 942 nang galing lang dito yan. Okay, lining ko lang dito yan. So paano natin nakuha itong 942 na to given the annuity of 100? So dapat expected na ang value na to 100. Okay, so take note of this. Okay, so we use the formula PMT. Pag ang hinahanap natin yung annuity, PMT yung gagamitin natin. So ano yung mga factors dito? Rate 10%, NPER 30, okay, B40 PV. Okay, PV yung 942.69. FV, ignore guys, ignore. Okay, kasi ang cash flow natin yung 942.69 na. Pero pag ang gagamitin natin si future value, ito yung ilalagay natin, 16449, tatanggalin natin itong present value na ito na 942. Okay, and then 0 kasi guys, annuity ordinary, control enter. So we get 100 nga. Tama. Or using yung FB, by the way guys, naglagay ako ng negative dito kasi positive yung PV natin kanina, then magiging negative yung answer na yan. Okay, so dito naman, ang ginamit natin yung future value na 16449. Dito yun. Okay, future value. We didn't use the present value. So whether you use the present value or the future value in order to compute for the annuity, it doesn't matter, you get the same answer. Because they are equivalent values. Okay, so take note of that. 100 din. Okay, so let's summarize ko lang. Yung 100 guys, for 30 years, ito, 100 for 30 years at 10% is equivalent to 942.69. It is also equivalent to 16449. So in other words, we are indifferent to choosing any of them. Okay, whatever you choose guys, pareho lang yung values niyan kasi they are equivalent values. Okay, so also, aside from computing for the annuity, we can also compute for the N, for the number of periods. No? Okay, so sa Excel, ang gagamitin natin dyan, NPER. Okay, so this example, no? Given the present value of 942 and then an annuity of 100, okay, for 30 years. So dalawa lang gagamitin ko, either yung 942 or 16449 and compare it with the annuity of 100. Or I can just choose this one and this one. Okay, kasi mga equivalent cash flows yan, guys, no? Okay, so please take note, no? Ang tanong, ilang years daw muna ang i-invest natin if the annuity is 100 at 10% so that it becomes equivalent to 942.69. So yun tanong dyan, no? Okay, so if we're computing for the rate, then we should be using NPER. Okay, NPER. Now, ang ano dito, ang catch dito, guys, tignan natin yung parameters sa NPER. Una yung rate, so that's 10%. Second, this is your PMT, no? PMT is 100. And then thirdly, PV, ginamit natin dito PV 942. If you want to use the FV, then don't put anything in your PV, gamitin natin itong 16449 for the FV. Okay, and then we ignore the type kasi nga annuity ordinary to, no? Pag annuity ordinary, you don't need to put you don't need to put anything in the type. Okay, ang default niyan type 0 yon, ordinary. Okay, now if I didn't put here, notice may negative tong ano natin, ano, PMT. Kasi pag hindi ko linagyan ng negative yan, okay, nagkakaroon tayo ng negative answer, negative 7, which is wrong. Kasi hindi naman pwede maging negative yung years. Okay, hindi siya pwede maging negative. Now, why is this error? And we cannot put negative there. Sabihin nyo, maglagay tayo ng negative sa NPER. And naging positive yung answer niya. However, mali. Mali. It should be 30. It should be 30 years and not 7 years. Now, first, guys, you cannot put a negative under NPER kasi hindi naman pwede maging negative a number of periods. Okay, you can only put a negative dun sa present value kasi cash inflow yan or cash outflow. The future value kasi pwede yung cash inflow or cash outflow and the annuity, the PMT. So yun yung pwede natin lagyan ng negative. Okay, but not NPER. Okay, so how do we correct this? Dapat, guys, sabi ko nga kanina, very sensitive si Excel sa direction ng cash flow. Dapat kung isa dyan negative, dapat positive yung isa and vice versa. Kasi dapat may inflow at saka may outflow. So if I make the annuity negative, okay, so dapat positive si present value. Or vice versa, I make annuity positive, therefore si present value dapat negative. Kasi walang investment na tatanggap ka ngayon na 942.69 tapos tatanggap ka pa ulit ng 100 for the next 30 years. Walang ganun. No? Kailangan may ilalabas kang pera para may huhugutin ka. So that's what this means. No? So let's assume that PMT is positive. Kaya ibig sabihin, inflow yan, tatanggap tayo ng 100. Present value is negative, 942.69. Ibig sabihin, maglalabas tayo ng pera at the onset initially. Maglalabas tayo ng 942.69. Tapos, at the end of the first period, makakatanggap tayo ng we can receive 100. Second period, 100, 100, 100, 100 for the next 30 years. So that's what this means. No? Let's check if this is 30 years. Yes, it's really 30 years. So it validates the equivalence a while ago. Okay, and we can also do that for using future value. Okay, here for the future value, okay, we use 16449, and then one of them has to be negative. So I can either make my PMT negative or my FV negative. It doesn't matter, guys. It gives you the same answer, but you don't put a negative here under NPER. Okay. So it's also 30 years. You should get the same answer because they're just equivalent cash flows. Okay, and then it really came from also 30 years and NPER. So we're just going around in circles here and try to check if tama yung computation natin. Okay, how about this? Solving for the rate of return. And we are expecting a 10%, no? Kasi same values eh. Present value 949. Future value 16449, annuity 100. Number of years 30. What was the interest rate of return? Same. Is equal to rate And then we can't put here a negative because this is rate. Okay, so first is NPER, 30. Second is PMT, 100. So we can either use PV or FB. Here I used FB. Okay, this one. And then I place negative here. You can put negative in the FB or in the PMT. Okay, so that's 10%. Okay, using PV. Okay, you also get 10%. Okay, pause, guys. Clear so far? Paki-chat, please, kung yes or no. If you have any questions, please feel free to chat, post your question, or unmute yourself. Okay, my question is, guys, I would appreciate your response. Are we clear so far on the use of FB, PV, PMT, rate, and NPER? Okay, only 1/4. Okay. Okay, more responses, please, if possible. Ano man lang tayo, more than 12, no? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So yan, salamat ha. Clear? Clear naman. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so let's now go here, guys. So far, what we did was to get was to discount. Dito ang diniscount natin yung single cash flow lang. No? Diniscount natin si 9.646 million para kunin natin yung present value na 1 million. Diniscount din natin yung annuity, no? Yung 100 na annuity. Hinanap natin, we look for the present value. Okay, so either a single cash flow or an annuity, which is a uniform stream of cash flows. Now here we have an uneven stream of cash flows, 1,000 up to 5,000. Okay, so we try to answer this question. Okay, is this project feasible? We actually already answered this before. Okay, but not mathematically yet. Okay, so we might be tempted to add natin yung mga cash inflows natin, yung mga positive na flows natin. Turns out that it's 15,000. If we compare that with 9,000, mas malaki yung inflows natin. So we might be tempted to say, that's good. Kasi the cash inflow is higher than the cash outflow. But we cannot do that because it violates the time value of money. Take note, we cannot add this because they belong to different time frames. So what did we do here? We have to convert this into a common time frame. So pwede natin siya i-convert lahat sa year 2. So i-convert natin ito sa year 2, this one i-convert natin sa year 2, this one i-convert natin sa year 2, etc., etc., etc. We can convert every cash flow here into any time frame. We can convert everything to year 3, or we can convert everything to year 5. But usually, guys, kino-convert natin siya sa time 0, sa present, no? So what we're doing here is we're going to use here the formula for PV to get the present values. So tingnan natin to, no? PV, okay, here we have the rate. The rate is 10%. So we can see here that we gave this a name, WAC. 10%, linagyan natin ng pangalan, WAC, okay, so that we can use that in our formula. Okay, and then we have NPER. This is the NPER. No? This is 0. Okay, when we copy this down, the next year will be 1, etc. hanggang year 5. Okay, so let's take a look at the formula. So this is the NPER. PMT, annuity, hindi naman annuity to, no? Kung annuity sana yan, mas madali, no? Kaso hindi annuity to eh. It's a non-uniform stream of cash flows, uneven cash flow streams. Okay, so we cannot use the annuity function. Rather, we will use the FD function. Okay, and then I'm going to put here negative or pwedeng negative sa labas para maging opposite yung answer, no? Enter. So we have here 9,000. Is this correct, guys? Yung 9,000 ito? Is this value correct? We're getting the present value of 9,000 that we will get now. Is the present value of 9,000 now equal to now 9,000 also? Paki-chat please guys kung tama yung answer nito. Kindly chat please kung yes or no, kung tama itong present value ng 9,000. Okay? Ngayon, ang present value niya, 9,000 din. Is that correct? Answer please via chat. Yes or no? Tama ba yung present value ng 9,000 na to? Ito. Ang present value ba niyan, 9,000 mismo? Ito. This one. Is the present value of 9,000? Is the present value of 9,000 at time 0 equal to 9,000? What's the answer to that, guys? Kindly chat. Hello? Okay, yes. Okay, isa lang sumagot. Do I have only one student here? Thank you, Angeline. How about the rest, guys? I hope you're still with me, guys. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. The answer is yes, of course, guys. Kasi ito time 0 to eh. Ibig sabihin ngayon to. So ano yung present value niya? Eh di 9,000 din, diba? So we should have been expecting this, yung 9,000 yan. Kasi ang present value ng value ngayon is the same value. Okay, now ito, which is the cash flow of 1,000 after 1 year, ang present value yan iba na. So notice we're discounting here, we're discounting these values. Okay, when we discount, guys, mababa yung values. Okay, yung 2,000 after 2 years will be 1,652 now, and the 5,000 after 5 years will be 3,104. Ang equivalent value niya ngayon is 3,104. Okay. So can we now add all of this, guys? Can we now add all of this? The answer is yes. Okay. Bakit natin siyang pwede nang i-add? Okay. Bakit natin siya pwedeng i-add itong mga present values na to? Kasi they are all now pegged at the same time frame. Nasa time 0 na siya nakapeg, no? So ang ginawa natin, kinuha natin yung equivalent value ng 1,000 at time 0. And that's 909. Magkano daw yung 5,000 which we will be getting in 5 years time? Magkano siya ngayon? Ano yung equivalent value? 3,104.61. So these are all present values. Therefore, they can be added. 1,652 guys yung answer. Okay? So there is a name for this. Ang tawag nito net present value. So the decision rule is if the net present value is positive, then okay yung project. Okay, so ipakita lang natin dito. So ang net present value, it's equal to the sum of the present value of your cash inflows minus the sum of the present value of your cash outflows. So take note, lahat yan. Pwede natin i-add yan kasi lahat yan mga present values na. Ang inflows natin ito, yung mga positive. So in-add natin to, we got this. Okay, sum of D56 to D60. Right? Tapos yung ano naman, outflow, it's just 1, no? So ito lang yun. All right? So when we added this, we get 1,652.59, which is this one. Okay? So as I said a while ago, guys, ang decision rule, kapag positive yung net present value, then the project is acceptable. We could, of course, have forecasted it to year number 5, no? Pwede natin pineg lahat sa year number 5, so that's the future value. Okay? So ang gagamitin naman natin dito yung FD function. Okay, so mathematical ano lang tayo dito kasi yung number of years from year 0 to year 5 is 5. So it's just 5 minus 0, 5 minus 1, 5 minus 2 para yung formula natin can be copied all throughout. Okay, so we have these future values. These are values now at year 5. So can we add them? Yes, we can add them kasi they all now belong to year 5. And these are all future values. So we call this net future value. Okay, ganun din yung formula. So sum of the future value of your inflows, which are this one, okay, minus, okay, so that's the sum of this one, minus the sum of the future value of your outflows, which is this one. Okay, and they can be added because they belong to the same time frame. Now, of course, guys, when the net present value is positive, then of course the net future value will also be positive. Pag negative to, guys, negative din to. Okay, now there's a quick formula to get the NPV. Kasi dito, paano natin nakuha yung NPV? Inisa-isa pa natin, no? Kinuha pa natin yung present value ng bawat isa. There's a shortcut for that, and tingnan nyo, ginamit natin yung NPV function. Ano ba yung NPV function? Type ko is equal to NPV. Anong sabi dito? It returns the present value of an investment. Okay, on a given discount rate, yung WACC natin, and a series of, so ang problema ito, guys, future payments. Okay, so dito medyo mali si Excel sa pag-formulate ng NPV. Kasi ang sinasabi niya, wag daw natin isasama yung unang value kasi present value yan eh. Dapat future payments lang. So si Excel, ang pwede natin mapasok sa NPV, yung starting with at the end of the first year. So ito guys, ito. From 1,000 to 5,000. Because if we include, pasok natin WACC, no? If we include this one, yung unang value natin, okay, isasama ko si 9,000, Okay, so si 9,000, as far as we're concerned, hindi future yan, no? It will happen exactly now. No? Okay, so if we do that, ano mangyayari? 1,502. So iba yung answer. No? Iba yung answer kasi ito 1,502 ang NPV natin, 1,652. Bakit? Anong ginawa ni Excel? Ang ginawa niya, ito binasa niya as arriving at year 1. Okay, so ginawa niya itong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kinonsider niya to as a future value. Okay? Which is wrong kasi hindi naman future value itong 9,000 na to. So, how do we address this? So, dapat, ang mga future values lang yan, ito lang. Ito. Yan lang. Okay? So, pag kinuha natin yan, guys, we will get this, yung 10,652, ito. Which is just the sum of the present values of your inflows na nasa future. So, in order to adjust this, kailangan isasama natin yung at year 0. Yan. Sama dapat natin to kasi time present value na rin yan. Okay, control enter, and we get 1,652.59. Tama na. Okay, pause muna ako, guys. Clear ba yung NPV, yung net present value? How to use Excel in order to compute for the net present value? Dapat, dapat guys, ang gagamitin natin yung pag highlight natin yung mga cash flows, mga values, dapat yung the value that starts with year 1. Tapos i-add back na lang natin yung year 0. Okay? Any questions, guys, about NPV? Please chat yes kung clear tayo, or no kung may questions kayo. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Although dalawa lang yung sumagot, sana guys, more people will answer. No? Okay, now, okay, may padagdag pa. Thank you so much. Okay, salamat guys sa pag-respond. No? Okay, good. Yan, salamat Okay, good. Okay, all right. Appreciate guys your responses, your feedback. Okay. So aside from NPV, meron pang isang measure yung IRR. And si IRR, straightforward yung formula niya. Okay. It's simply IRR, tapos sinama natin lahat ng cash flows, including year 0. So dito tama si Excel dito sa computation ng IRR. And the answer is 15.47%. Okay, so anong ibig sabihin ng IRR? This is the return of the project. Okay, and when do we say that a project is feasible or not? A project is feasible or not if the IRR is greater than the weighted average cost of capital, okay, which is the 10%. So sabi natin guys, kung yung IRR greater than WACC, then okay, the project is okay, the project is feasible. And usually guys, si NPV at saka si IRR, they agree. But in the event that they disagree, kunyari sabi ni NPV okay, sabi ni IRR hindi, sino masusunod guys? Paki-chat please. Which measure will be followed? Which measure will prevail? Si NPV o si IRR? Okay. Only one answer, guys. How about the rest? Which metric will prevail? NPV or IRR? So si Angeline lang ba yung may sagot? How about the others, guys? What's your take? What's your opinion? Pag nagko-conflict si NPV at saka si IRR, sinusunod-sunod natin. Waiting for some more responses. Isa lang guys, isa lang sumagot. Okay, waiting for the others to respond. Sino susundin natin? Si NPV o si IRR pag may conflict sila? No response? I was hoping that you'll be able to respond kasi na-discuss ko nung ano yan. Na-discuss ko sa videos, no? Okay, thank you. Thank you. You're correct, guys. The answer is NPV, no? Lagi, no? Pag nag-conflict si NPV at saka si IRR, si NPV yung laging susundin. Okay? All right. So let's go here. Okay. So quickly, let's discuss tong EAR, yung effective annual rate. Sometimes, when you see interest rates, guys, yung mga stated rates, annual lagi yan. Unless sinabing na yung rate na yan, semi-annual or quarterly. Okay. But usually, pag nagbigay ng rate, annual yan. Okay. In this problem, we'd like to see the difference between annual compounding, semi-annual compounding, etc. Now, when we compound more than once a year, mas mataas yung ano yan, mas mataas yung magiging future value. No? Mas mataas kasi, alam natin guys na yung interest, tapos nagpatong ka pa ng interest sa interest, then, ibig sabihin nun guys, the interest will earn. Okay, the interest, there will be interest on the interest. Therefore, pag na-compound yan guys, mas malaki. Okay, so here we have this problem, no? Nasa nasa video, no? Okay, so meron tayong ang annual rate daw, annual percentage rate is 10%, the number of years 30, ang initial investment is 1 million. So ang tanong, magkano yung future value niya at the end of 30 years if the compounding is only annual, if it's semi-annual, quarterly, etc. Now we know guys that the answer will be mas malaki yung future value kapag mas maraming compounding per year. Ito nga weekly. Kasi ito daily pa, 365 na infinite pa, no? Which is perpetuity. So, let's see. Let's compute for the FB. Okay, so dito guys, ang FB natin, we're using the FB function. Naglagay tayo ng negative para maging positive lang yung answer natin. So, this one is your rate. Ang rate natin guys is 10%, which is your APR divided by the periods per year. Okay? Kasi yung interest niyan, kunyari, semi-annual, ibig sabihin niyan, 2 times magko-compute ang interest at 10% divided by 2 at 5% each. 5% the first 6 months, 5% ng the next 6 months. Pag quarterly naman, 10% divided by 4, so 2.5% sa first quarter, 2.5 sa next, 2.5 sa third, 2.5 sa fourth, etc. No? etc. So that's why our rate is equal to 10%. And then we fix this kasi ikakopy natin pababa, divided by the number of periods. Also, the NPER, guys, yung NPER natin will be dependent on the number of payments of interest. So kung semi-annual, 2 beses nagbabayad ng interest. Okay, so that will be 30 years times 2. So i-multiply natin yung 30 multiplied by the periods per year. Okay, this one. And then, pagdating natin dito, ano yung dito, guys? This is PMT. Hindi naman PMT to, guys, no? This is just a single cash flow. And then, pagdating dito, PV. This is our PV, our 1 million. And then we fix the row kasi ikakopy natin siya pababa. Okay? So, if we copy this down, guys, hanggang dito sa 365, no? We copy this down. You notice that, diba? Mas malaki, guys, yung future value ng mas malaking compounding per year. In fact, that's dramatized when gawin natin to kunyari ano. Gawin natin tong 50 million. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. If this was 50 million, guys, yan. Okay, you can see here the difference, no? Mas lumalaki. Ito 872 million, ito 1 billion na. Okay, ang difference na mga 200 billion na yung 200 million na yung difference, no? 200 million yung difference, especially pag mas malaki yung kino-compound natin. Okay? So that's what we call, that's the effect of the yung time value of money. Kasi the more interest you compute per period per year, of course, nagkakaroon ng compounding, nagko-compound yung interest on the interest on the interest. Okay? Notice here, guys, that yung daily ang pinakamalaki except when we compare it with perpetuity. No? Perpetuity, infinite yung compounding yan. Okay? And the formula to use is this one. Pag perpetuity, the formula is the future value is equal to the present value times the perpetual factor natin, itong e to the RT. Okay, alam natin yung R and yung annual rate, 10%. Okay, ano yung T natin? T natin is the number of years, 30. Now, E, guys, if you know, E is an irrational number. Okay, we get E using the EXP function in Excel. Okay, pinsan ni pi yan. No? Okay, na you learned in high school or in college that pi is an irrational number. Ibig sabihin, walang non-repeating, non-terminating yan. It cannot be expressed as a fraction, A over B. No? So non-repeating, non-terminating yan. So if you can use a powerful microscope, powerful computer, and then let the computer generate the value of E. Okay, so gumagamit ng font 1, for example, if there's such. Tapos back-to-back pa yung bond paper. Okay, magsa-stack up na yung bond paper papuntang buwan, pabalik, papunta ulit, pabalik, infinitely, hindi matatapos yung yung value ng E. It's non-repeating, non-terminating, walang katapusan yan. Parang si pi. Okay? All right. So here we were able to show that indeed, yung continuous compounding, yung perpetuity, yun ang pinakamalaki na future value. Okay? Now, since magkakaiba yung nila, yung future values, then dapat magkaiba yung effective annual rate nila. Kung sino mas malaki na present na future value, mas malaki dapat yung rate of return yan. Ang tawag natin dyan, effective. Pare-pareho sila ng annual, ng stated return, pero magkakaiba sila ng effective. Ang kapareho lang ng effective annual return sa annual percentage rate is itong one compounding lang per year. Siyempre, pareho lang, one lang. Eh. But the more you add compounding per year, the higher will be the effective annual rate, the EAR. So ang formula na ginamit natin dyan is the rate function. Kasi alam natin yung number of periods, 30. Alam din natin yung PV, itong 50 million in this case. Alam din natin yung future value, itong mga values na to. Okay? By the way guys, kahit na ibalik natin to sa 1 million, tingnan nyo 10.515 to, no? 10.5157, okay? If we make this as 1 million, balik natin sa 1 million to. One. Okay, pareho pa rin guys, no? Pareho pa rin yung interest rate. Okay, yung EAR. Okay, so we can easily compute for the EAR using the rate function. Kasi alam natin yung present value, alam natin yung future value, alam natin yung N per 30. So that's how we use the rate function. Or the formula. So my formula guys, okay, ito yung formula ng, yan, no? Effective annual return is equal to 1 plus the nominal rate over the periods per year raised to the periods per year minus 1. So that's the formula for the effective annual return. So 1 plus the nominal rate divided by the PPY. Okay, this is the periods per year raised to the PPY minus 1. Okay, so if we use this formula, you see that we have the same answer. No? Parehong-pareho yung answer natin. Okay, the rate function of Excel is of course based on this formula. Okay, of course guys, yung dulo natin ito, ibang formula to. Pag perpetuity, hindi natin pwedeng magamit tong formula na yan. Kasi wala tayong PPY, wala tayong periods per year. Okay, so the formula there is e to the r minus 1. Yan. Okay, e, this is e to the r, your r is 10%. And then minus 1. Okay, you see that it's the same. No? Okay, and lastly, guys, we can make use of the effect function. So ano yung effect function? Dalawa lang, no? Effect daw, you put the nominal rate and the number of periods per year. So alam naman natin nominal rate na 10%. No? Stated rate, nominal rate, pare-pareho yan. No? Okay, and then finish lang natin yung row para ma-copy down natin. And then here, B72 is of course this one. Drag the formula down and you have exactly the same values here. Okay. Of course, hindi natin pwede magamit dito yan guys. Kasi wala nga tayong N per Y dito. Okay. So this just illustrates that there's a difference between your nominal rate and your stated rate if you have more than one compounding per year. Okay. Let me pause for a while guys. Any questions? Or clear ba so far itong effective annual rate natin? Okay, I'll wait for the response of the other students. I have 2 responses. Okay, thank you. 5, 6. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Yan, guys. Salamat talaga. I appreciate you responding. Yan, thank you. Okay, kasi hindi pa tayo nakaka 100%. Sana dumating yung point na 100% yung response. All right. So we leave this guys. Okay. Ang gagamitin natin yung sinend ko na na file ito. Kindly open the file that I sent. And once you open it, once you have opened it, kindly chat kung yes na, so that I know if we are ready to proceed or not. Okay, good. Thank you. Right. Salamat ha. Thank you for informing me. So let's proceed now, guys. Okay, I hope everyone, kasi hindi lahat nag-respond, ano? I hope everyone is ready. Okay, so we're going to construct a dynamic amortization table. Pag sinabing dynamic, guys, pag binago natin yung mga givens, whatever the given is, pag binago natin any of the givens, automatically, magbabago yung module natin, magbabago yung amortization table. Okay. So this is different from the first amortization table that I showed in the video. Ito, dynamic to. Kasi sabi natin dynamic, kapag binabago natin yung givens, nagbabago yung output natin. All right. So we have here a loan of 5 million. Tapos let's assume that the equity required is 10%. Ibig sabihin, hindi natin maloloan tong, we cannot loan the 5 million. No? Dapat may equity tayo ng 10%. Therefore, ang loanable amount natin is simply yung 5 million, multiply that by 1 minus. Babawasan natin ng, we'll subtract 10%. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, 90% lang yung pwede natin ma-loan. We can only loan 90% of the total amount. So that should be 4.5 million. Okay? All right. Now here in term, okay, could you kindly check if you have this, guys? If you have this drop-down list. If I drop this down, merong 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, etc. Kindly chat, guys, if you have that in your worksheet. Okay. Thank you. That's good. Thank you so much. Now, do you know how to do this, guys? Okay. If you know how to do this, okay. If you don't know how to do this, chat yes, which means that you're interested in knowing how to do this. If not, guys, chat no. Ibig sabihin na no, you already know this. You already know how to do this, and then we'll just proceed with the lesson. Answer? Okay, thank you. Yes, which means that you're interested to know how to put this. Okay, let me teach you guys how to put this. Because this is what we call data validation. What's the use of data validation? Data validation is used, okay, it's used what's the proper word for that? To restrict whatever values you can put in a cell. Okay, so for example, if I type here Bob, okay, I'll type Bob and enter, and notice it gives us a message. This value doesn't match the data validation restriction. So this is all about data validation, and you can do this if you want. For example, you're sharing your file and you want to make sure that others put the correct values in a particular cell, then you can do data validation. So let me show you how to do data validation. Okay. All right. First, you have to go to the cell that you want data validated. Okay. Here you already have data validation. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete first the data validation for this. All right. So once your active cell is in D9, okay, let's go to data. Okay, make sure that your active cell is in D9. Then you go to data. And then here under data tools, you have data validation. You click data validation here, click data validation. And you can see here, guys, under the settings, allow list and source. So it has already been data validated, but let's clear this. Here, let's clear this so that we'll be the one to do this. So clear all natin. Okay, tingnan nyo, no? When we click clear all, the data validation now just shows any value. Okay, so nawala na guys yung data validation natin. Okay, okay, take note, no more drop down list here. And if I type here Bob, okay, it now accepts this. Okay, all right. Now there's another one. Can you see please if there's another data validation here in your worksheet? Ito, may data validation ba rin dito sa annual rate? Kindly please chat yes. Meron din? Okay, so let's remove this also. We don't need the data validation here. May mistake ako dito. So tanggalin natin data validation dito. So once again, go to this cell, yung itong annual, itong annual rate, okay? And then data validation, and then clear all ulit, clear all. Okay, okay. So wala nang data validation dito. Okay, let's go here, guys. Let's go here to term. Ang ilalagay natin dito, I want this to have values that are either 1 year, 2 year, 30-year fixing, etc. So i-data validate natin to para ang pwede lang natin ipasok dito. What we can input here are only this one. Okay, where did this come from? Okay, so let me just request you please look at this, guys. Itong URL na to. Okay, if you open this, okay, it will show this one. Okay, so let me just show you where I got those terms. So it's from Pag-ibig itself, this one. Frequently asked questions for Pag-ibig Fund. Okay, I hope you know what Pag-ibig does. Pag-ibig is a government entity, HDMF, that allows contributors or members of the Pag-ibig to loan, to do housing loan and other loans also. So you can, if you're interested, just go through this. But I'm looking at number 6, question number 6. What are the interest rates? Okay, so these are the interest rates. Okay, so this is where I got those figures. And that's effective up to June 2021. It's already November, but they haven't changed it. So it means that this still holds. Okay, let me see the chat. Okay, thank you. All right. So 1 year, what does this mean? It means that if you borrow for 1 year, a house, and it's payable in 1 year, the interest rate is 5.75%. If you're borrowing and then you use the term 30 years, okay, so payable in 30 years, then the interest rate is 9.875%. Of course, guys, this is consistent with the principle of the risk and return, because Pag-ibig will be assuming a greater amount of risk if it lends money, okay, for a housing loan for 30 years. Okay, the longer the term, the more risky it is for Pag-ibig, because the greater chance for that borrower to default or not to be able to pay. Okay, so this is where that came from, these figures. Okay, so going back here, okay, here. So I copied those figures. Okay, so what I want here is that the term here should only include this one. Okay, so let's do data validation. So I'll go to this D9 and then data, and then go back to data and then data validation here. Okay, data validation. Okay, so here, guys, we have here allow, and you have options. Allow any value, which means no restriction. If you want only whole number or decimal or date or time or a particular text length or a custom, okay, you can do that. But in our case, we'll do data validation for a list. So list, because we have already this list, okay, and then the source, guys, go to source and then highlight 1 year up to 30 years. Okay, so we were able to do data validation. Click OK. Don't click OK yet. Here you can put an input message. Okay, for the input message, you can put a title there. The input message, guys, when you click this cell, this message will appear. You can put, for example, choose only from the list. Okay, you can put that. Okay, and then here in the error alert, you can do stop, warning, or information. Stop means it will not accept any wrong figure, just like what I did a while ago, right? If you recall, this was data validated, and when I typed Bob, it said that, okay, invalid data. Okay, but you can, of course, you can give your own message. Okay, I told you to only put from the list. Okay, whatever, guys. No? Whatever, but whatever message you put here, that will appear there. Okay. Okay. Now take note. Now we have data validation here. Diba? What appears here are only these values. Okay. So if I type here Bob, enter, there. I told you to only put from the list. Okay. Ang kulit. Whatever you put there in the error message. Okay. Cancel. So it will not accept it. Okay. Here, 10-year fixing. Okay. 30-year fixing. Okay. So this is data validated already. Okay, question, guys. Is this one a number or a text? Kindly chat, please. Is this 2-year fixing a number or a text? Please chat, please. Quickly, guys, quickly. So whatever I chose here, 25-year fixing, is this a number or a text? Number or text? Come on, please chat. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. text. You're correct. It's a text, di ba? 25-year fixing. Now, if it's a text, di ba, for example, I type here ABC, okay, and then times 100. Diba? Can we multiply a text with a number, guys? Can we do that? For example, is equal to ABC times 100. Can you do that, guys? Kindly check, guys. Quickly, can you do this? Okay, we're trying to pace our time. Yes or no, guys? You can unmute yourself. Okay, no, yes, you're correct. Yeah, it says name, you're correct. Kasi, guys, hindi pa pwede, no? It will return an error term. The value siya. Value. Bakit hindi siya pwede? Kasi text to eh. Times a number. Hindi pa pwede. Now, what if, guys, what if we multiply this one, yung text natin times 100? Okay. Can we multiply that, guys? Can we multiply? Answer? What did you get, guys? Yes or no? Okay, let's see some answers. Oh, Maria, nag-no ba? Nag-no ba yung answer mo? Okay, kasi yes, okay, yes na, no? Okay, all right, thank you so much. Okay, you're correct, guys. Pwede. Okay, bakit pwede, guys? Akala ko ba hindi pa pwede i-multiply yung text? Itong text na to sa value. Bakit nang-multiply siya? Okay, take a look at this, guys. 25-year fixing. What is the value of this in the formula bar? Ito. Ano yung value niya? Is it 25-year fixing? So yun, correct. 25 ang value niya. So apparently hindi siya text, guys. It's a number. Unlike this one, if I click this ABC, di ba? Yun, ABC, oh. Kahit lagyan ko pa ng 25 ABC dyan. 25 ABC. Okay? Wala pa rin. You can still multiply that with 100 kasi text pa rin to eh. Pero ito, guys, bakit 25-year fixing? May text siya, pero why does it appear to be a number? Okay, that's also a secret, guys. No? That's one thing you can do if you want a cell to contain text, pero it will be treated as a number. Pwede yun. Kasi lalo na kung gusto nyo na yung text niya nakaka-describe dun sa value. Okay, so how did we do that? Okay, pakita ko lang. Okay, so go to your cell, either I think command 1 sa Mac or control 1. Okay, sa laptop, sa PC, sa Windows, control 1. Okay, now take a look at this. Number and then custom, di ba? Makikita nyo yung finormat ko. Finormat ko tong text na to, tong cell na to. And you can find here, guys, dito sa custom, dito sa type, no? You can see here, tinype ko to, number. Apat na number, okay, to accommodate thousands, no? And then quotes, then dash year fixing, and then close quotes. In other words, guys, ito, yung year fixing na to, i-attach to kung ano man ang number dito. Okay? It will be attached, and then it will be considered as a number. So magiging number siya. No? So dito kasi, dito natin kinuha yan. So ang sabi ko, yung year fixing na yan, ito, gawin niyang, ano yan, quotes. Okay? So text lang yan, pero hindi siya i-consider as text. I-consider siya as number. Number. Okay? So okay. So now, guys, that's why this is considered as a number. Okay, 20 yan. So anong implication? Pwede natin magamit sa formula to. Kahit na may year fixing siya. Okay? Alright. So punta na tayo dito. Okay, medyo kapos tayo sa oras, ano? Okay, so let's do this. 20-year fixing, ano yung annual rate niya? 20-year fixing, ano yung annual rate niya? Okay, the annual rate is 8.5%. Ito. No? So, ibalik muna natin sa 15%. No? Let's use 15%. So, how do we get the value? How do we get the value of, okay, ito mo muna to. Okay, how do we get the value of the term? Depende dito, no? So we can use the Vlookup function, okay? Most probably, many of you have already used the Vlookup function. Ginagamit natin yan, guys, pag vertical yung data, yung arrangement ng data natin. Okay, vertical siya. Okay, lookup value, pinapahanap natin si 15-year fixing. Okay, saan table natin pinapahanap? Dito. There. Okay, we don't need to fix this kasi hindi naman natin ikakopy yung formula na to. Okay, comma. Which column index number do we want to return? First column, second column. We want Excel to return the second column. 2, second column, and then comma. Okay. Range lookup. Is it an approximate match or an exact match? So ito exact match yung mga yan, ano? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exact match. So we either click this false or you can just ignore that or type 0. Kasi pag false, 0 yan. Okay, but let's leave that as it is. Control Enter. So ang 15-year ba, 7.587, correct. So let's check. Gawin natin tong 30 years, 9.875, correct. Gawin natin tong 1 year, okay, 5.75, that's correct. Okay, so our formula is working, no? 10 years, 7.25. Okay. Pause muna ako, guys. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Paki-chat kung clear yung Vlookup natin. Okay, let me flash the formula again so that for those of you who were not able to follow. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for your responses. Okay, salamat. Salamat. Although lilima pa lang din yung nag-respond, sana mas marami pa. Okay, periods per year, guys. So sabi natin, since pag-ibig to, no? So monthly yung periods ito, guys. No? So the loan will be paid monthly. So total periods will be, ang total periods natin kasi ilang months tayo? Ilang years? 15. So we can use this, guys, yung 15 na to. Take note, this is a number, di ba? 15 times 12. Okay, 15 times 12, that gives us 180. So 180 months yung number of yung terms natin dito, no? And then the monthly rate, okay, annual rate, dapat convert natin yan sa monthly, divide by 12. Okay? So the period should be monthly dapat. The rate should be also monthly, dapat consistent tayo. Okay. We can now compute for the monthly amortization. Okay, but before I do that, okay, thank you for the comments. Before I do that, guys, I will ask you, not at this time, guys, kayo na lang mag-check nito, itong Pag-ibig Financing mortgage calculator. I'll just flash it, okay, and just show you how this works. Okay. So itong calculator na to, guys, pwede nating magamit to. Okay. So let's see. So we go here, input natin. Magkano yung purchase price? 5 million here. Magkano yung down payment? 10%, di ba? Mortgage term, ilang years? 15 years. And then ipasok natin yung interest rate, 7.875%. Okay, first payment date, doesn't matter, guys, kung kailan simula niyan. Okay, ibig sabihin, ilo-loan natin November. So ang first payment niyan is December kasi annuity ordinary to. So let's show it by month. Calculate. Okay, so we have this diagram. Okay, so your assignment will be, not to be submitted, guys, will be, gawin nyo rin to, no? Gawin nyo to. Time na, grabe ang bilis. So ito, guys, yung ito guys yung monthly amortization, 42,680. Okay, yung yellow dito, yung interest payments, yung green yung principal payments. You notice, guys, At the onset, mas malaki yung interest payments. Habang tumatagal, mas lumalaki yung principal. Tapos itong red na to, ito yung balance, yung principal balance natin. So over time, liliit yan kasi binabayaran natin yung principal natin. So sa dulo, guys, take a look at this. Sa dulo, you have this one. Okay, magkano yung total na principal na binayaran? 4.5 million, which is correct. Kasi ito yung principal natin. Magkano yung total interest expense? 3.18 million. So for this 15-year loan, we need to pay, bali ang total is around 7 point something million. Okay guys, may I have 1 minute? Tapusin ko lang tong ano natin dito, tong computation ito. Do I have your permission, guys? Please chat naman kung yes, 1 or 2 minutes lang, guys. Okay, thank you so much. No? All right, salamat guys. Now, ganito gagawin ko guys. I'm going to post our recording today. Pero hindi natin kasi matatapos to, no? Ito guys, mga 5 minutes lang to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to post yung klase ko kanina. Okay, tapos tingnan nyo na lang yung bandang dulo. Ito lang naman yun eh. Ito lang siya. Tapusin natin itong dalawang to. Tapos ito, guys, kindly watch dun sa other class ko, itong portion na to. Because next meeting, guys, hindi ko na i-discuss to okay? What I'm going to discuss is already this one. Okay, so what will be our monthly amortization is equal to negative PMT. So PMT to, I'm putting here negative para maging positive yung answer natin. Ano yung rate natin? Rate natin is monthly rate, this one, comma, okay? NPER natin is 180, comma. PV natin is itong 4.5 na to, di ba? Okay? FB wala, type annuity, ordinary, 0, or just ignore. Okay? So if we take a look at this, guys, there, 42,680.24, it's exactly the same as the one here. Parehong-pareho siya dito, no? 42,680. Okay? 42,680. Okay. So that's what we got here. Okay, and then the total payment will be, anong total payment natin na babayaran? Yung monthly amortization natin multiplied by ilang yung periods na babayaran natin? 180. Okay, there. So ang total na babayaran natin is 7,682 million for a loan of 4.5. So ang difference yan, guys, 7,682 yung binayaran natin minus yung loan talaga natin na 4.5, interest natin 3182444. Okay, which is the same as this one. Okay, pakita ko guys, no? Ito, di ba? Ayun, no? 3182444. So whatever the pag-ibig calculator did, we can do it. Now, I just want you guys to plot this. I-plot nyo to, no? Ito. How was this plotted? Madali lang yan. Okay? So, ito hindi natin nagawa, guys. It's already time. Unless okay lang, guys, na last 2 minutes para magawa lang natin to. Okay lang ba, guys? Kasi 2 minutes lang naman to eh. Okay? Sure kayo, guys, ha? Hindi kayo magagalit sa akin, ha? O sige, gawin ko na, no? So dito, guys, 180 months tayo, no? So let's do 1. Okay? And then for quick listing of the months, okay, di ba? Alam natin na i-fill natin yan. If you recall this, fill series, no? Para mas mabilis. Naka-column siya. Increment natin plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 hanggang 180. Okay? There. So hanggang 180 na yung months natin kasi 180 tayo, no? 180 months. Okay, beginning balance natin is ito, 4.5 million. No? Okay, payment natin, we're going to pay every month 42,680. Wala pa tayong extra payment next meeting natin titingnan yan. Interest, what's the interest? The interest will always be based on the balance. No? Yun ang balance natin, 4.5. And then we multiply that by the interest rate. Ito yung interest rate natin. No? This one. Okay, since we're going to copy this down, so dapat guys, yung ano natin, so beginning balance times the interest, yung interest natin, i-fix natin yung row, no? Para pag binaba natin, okay pa rin yung formula natin. payment nga pala guys should be fix natin yung row kasi ikakopy natin pababa to eh. So ayaw natin na magbabago yung row position niya. Okay. Principal will still just be the magkano yung binayad natin minus magkano yung interest payment. So ito matitira na lang sa principal. Okay, quickly 29531.25 pareho lang dito yan. Okay, yan o. See sa first month guys. So first month 29531, 13149, exactly the same that we got here. 13149. Okay, therefore the month end principal will be equal to, okay, yung beginning balance natin minus kung magkano yung principal payment natin. So ito na lang yung balance natin guys. Okay, so sa month 2 magkano yung beginning balance natin? It will be the ending balance ng month 1. Okay, so ito guys, ito lahat ng to pareho lang to. Pareho lang yung formula na yan. Yan. So let's just copy this. Copy going down. Yan. Okay? Hanggang dulo. Notice guys, ang dulo niya, 0. Ibig sabihin, wala na natirang principal. Okay? Ito, lagyan natin ng is equal to sum. I-add natin lahat ng ano natin, ng interest kasi ito eh. No? Magkano yung interest payments natin? Okay, so our interest payment is yun, yung kanina, 31824439. Magkano yung principal payment? 45. Tama tayo. Okay? So, thank you so much, guys. That ends our discussion. I'm sorry I had to extend by 5 minutes. So, I'll stop the recording now. Stop recording.